Hey guys, it's Fonzie with Dip Your Car. Now we did have a full feature video planned for this Friday, like we always do. However, the components and mixture that we used on this week's car 100% needs direct sunlight to work properly. And unfortunately, South Florida weather has not been very cooperative the past 3 or 4 days. We haven't had a single opportunity to film in the direct sun. So it's Friday, and instead of showing you guys a half-assed video of that car, I want to do something different, something I haven't done in a couple years, and ask me anything. So I put up on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram and asked you guys to contribute with some questions, and we've got plenty of questions to work with. So right off the bat, I'm going to answer each one of these questions as transparently, as honestly as I can. Even if it's not the most professional response, even if it doesn't make me look good, I just think that's the most interesting way to go about something like this. Now, I'm going to try to get to everybody's question the best I can. But again, we have 9 pages of questions here. So if you ask multiple questions, I may not get to all of yours, but I'm going to try to get everybody included here. Also, I think this is going to take a little while. So no matter what you're doing over there, hang out with us for as long as you like, because I think this is going to be a bit of a process. So right off the bat, first question comes from David. What is the most difficult vehicle that you've dipped? And I think without question that goes to the Ferrari 488 or 458 Italia that we had back in 2016. That car had so many weird lines and curves and crazy air ducts with like chicken wire in them. It took a ton of time to mask properly. It was fun and the car came out great. If we had to do it again, we would, but that one for sure, the most difficult car that we've dipped so far. Justin, I'm just gonna ask what everybody's always wondering, how many days a week do you lift? Well, everybody's body is going to respond differently to different routines. For me, a 6-day-a-week split seems to work the best. So Monday back, Tuesday chest and calves, Wednesday legs, Thursday biceps, Friday triceps and calves, Saturday shoulders, and then Sunday is a rest day. That's what works best for me. Chuck, how you yourself properly clean the sprayer to put it away until the next use? Well, I think most people know that Gabe, our shop manager, handles all that, but what he's really going to do is empty out whatever dip or dip pearl top coat you're spraying that day, fill the paint cup at least halfway with naphtha thinner. You're going to shake it up really good. You're going to spray that naphtha thinner through the gun, flush out all the old dip, and then just take it apart and let it air dry. You don't really have to do any of the soaking in thinner and stuff like that. Stay away from any aggressive solvents like xylene, because that can really do a number on actually warping the plastic. Flush it really well with naphtha, take it apart, let it air dry. You should be good to go. Joey, 0 to do with dip. How much can you deadlift? The most I've ever deadlifted with good form is 485. How much horsepower does your fastest non-stock car have? I think as of right now, that would probably be the RS6 with 722. And what is your dietary lifestyle? I just eat pretty normal, but I try to eat clean. Thankfully, I'm not a sweets guy, so I'm not really gravitating towards candies, cookies, cakes, sugary things, just naturally not really interested in those at all. I usually stay away from dairy as well, so a lot of creams and sauces and cheeses aren't naturally part of my diet, so eat pretty normal but pretty clean. Wesley says, when you started this, did you ever dream of it becoming what it is today? No, of course not. When I started this, I was just so obsessed with the idea, and I got so the thing is, I worked in a corporate environment before this for 10 years. There's a lot that comes with a corporate environment. It is, as in some situations, as cutthroat as everybody thinks it is. It's not a very confident and comfortable environment to work in sometimes, and obviously I don't speak for all corporate environments, but where I was, it was not something where you'd go to bed at night and you were really excited to wake up and go to work the next morning. So I was so obsessed with an idea that could potentially take me out of that environment and give me the opportunity to drive my own ship, that I was just 100% focused on that. I had no idea if it was ever going to work. I remember saying to a couple people back then, if I can ever even supplement my bills with this business, it would be awesome. But I don't think anybody ever starts a business from scratch and has the foresight to think where it'll be in 5 or 10 years. Ricky, as an aspiring content creator who is just starting out and sitting at just about 250 Instagram followers, 360 YouTube subscribers. It'd be really interesting to know what resources, books, classes, or anything you would recommend to improve my viewers' experience as well as marketing and content. That's a bit of a tricky conversation because nowadays is different than the way it was back when I started in 2010. Back in 2010 and 11, social media was very organic, meaning if you had content and you put it out there and you had followers, you had people who followed your Facebook page. I don't even think Instagram was around back then. You put that out there and people would see it. You put it out on YouTube and people will see it. It's not the pay-per-click environment that it is today. Now, you could have awesome content. You could sell the best products. But if you put it on Facebook and don't boost that with money, it's not really going to go very far. So outside of just telling you you need to put together a really strong marketing budget to get your name out there and start getting followers and eyeballs, I would just say find content that you're 100% passionate about. Understand that it is going to take time and just keep pushing. Because if you look at podcasters, if you look at YouTube channels, if you look at content creators, streamers on Twitch, most of those people don't do anything particularly special. They don't do anything that other people can't do. They just have their own personality, they have their own way of doing it, and they just stuck it out. A lot of times the difference between someone who succeeds and someone who doesn't is not talent or skill, it's just their willingness to not give up. So if you really want it that bad, don't give up. Rodney, is there a higher gloss finish for DIY in the future? Yeah, I mean, I think so. We've developed multiple high gloss products for DIY over the years. Some of them didn't go to market just because they didn't pass long-term testing. Some of them are just kind of hung in limbo. I mean, I'm more of a conservative person. I don't want quick dollars. I don't want to just throw things out there that I know will sell real quick, but that will end up biting me in the ass or the customers in the ass in the future. My problem with high gloss for DIY is the finish. So you take Dip Armor, for example, with a satin finish. It's scratch resistant, gas resistant. It's really good protection for the car. It's got all the benefits of a 2K component. But with satin, it levels really well, and because it's a lower sheen, you can't really see any texture very much. With high gloss, there's no hiding from that. You're going to put down product. As a DIY person, you're going to be putting it down with a DIY level turbine most likely, even a stage 3 advanced turbine. You are not going to be able to atomize that product as well as a professional with a compressor. You're just not. Meaning you're going to have more orange peel than them. And it would be awesome to have 2K high gloss finishes for all DIY. We would sell a lot of it and a good amount of people would be happy. But to have a whole bunch of high gloss, super orange peely cars out there, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. Just for the entire health of the industry, for our brand, for even the customers. So I got to think about it. I just got to kind of take my time with that. Look at how realistic paint correction is for DIY customers, how often people at that level are really going to be sanding and polishing car. I just got to work our way through it. The technology is not the problem. It's everything that comes with it. Hopefully that makes sense. Austin asks, do you still fish? Yes, still go bass fishing. Had to take 7 months off because some lady smashed into the back of my boat on the road, and it took a really long time for it to get fixed. Insurance and things like that take a while. Components nowadays are really hard to get a hold of. Just got the boat back in July and have been bass fishing ever since. Sean asks, what's your favorite way to catch bass? I wouldn't say it's the most effective way, but I am a huge fan of topwater. Very few things in fishing are as exciting as watching a bass blow up on your topwater lure. Josh, what do you daily drive and is it dipped? So today, as of right now, I'm daily driving the Audi RS e-tron. Very happy with that car. It's not dipped yet. We're trying to get it into the video queue. We're a little bit backed up, But as of right now, that's the daily driver, and then a couple days a week I'll drive the RS6 Avant. Glenn, any plans to expand and have more warehouses across the country? We've looked at that multiple times. A couple challenges. The first is, if we were going to have multiple warehouses across the country, what that would really mean is that we'd probably contract an order fulfillment company to do all of our order fulfillment. We wouldn't open DipYourCar warehouses all across the country because the amount of money that would take would be through the roof. So we would just contract companies that already have multiple warehouses and send them inventory, and they would do the logistics and the order fulfillment. Excuse me, my main problem with that is I would lose my entire warehouse and logistics staff. So I'm not really the type of person to say, you know, the business would benefit from it, but at the expense of 15 people that have been working here for a long time. So I'd rather keep the people and, you know, kind of work out things the way we're doing it right now. And then the other challenge is if we ever were going to open like a central distribution center, again, it just comes down to the cost of that. I mean, the amount of inventory that they would have to hold, considering the kits and the bundles and the different pieces that we put together, it would be a massive project. And I'm not really the type of person to put that much trust into people that I don't know. I'm a little bit more, again, conservative on that side. So is it something that could happen in the future? Sure, but not right now. Daniel, what's the step-by-step process in dipping in cool, cold temperatures outside? Well, I think if you're above 55 Fahrenheit, you're okay. Anything below that, maybe wait. But above 55, anywhere from 55 to even 70, you just have to remember that the product is going to be much lower viscosity, meaning it's going to be a lot runnier, a lot thinner, and it's going to take a lot more time for each coat to dry. So as long as you kind of lighten those coats a little bit and give it plenty of time in between to dry, you should be just fine. Jeff, when are we ever going to see Brass Monkey wheel kits? Been trying to buy one since March. Dude, that's a sore spot for me, man. Brass Monkey and Bronze Gold are two of my favorite aerosol colors of all time. They were supposed to transition to Hyperdip in March. It's freaking November right now. There are components that have been delayed. There were manufacturing defects that didn't pass our quality control. We are supposed to be getting them in December now, but I absolutely share your frustration there. We should have had them a long time ago. It's 100% inexcusable. Justin, do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? As beautiful as that sounds, I would say no. No, I don't. Max, if someone wants to buy in bulk for a business, what's the best way to go about it? And do you think dip shops will ever take wrap shops? Well, buying in bulk's easy. You just got to contact us or even apply on the website for a wholesale. Do I think dip shops will ever take over wrap shops? I don't think they have to. There's plenty of room in the market for dip shops, paint shops, and wrap shops. I've never once thought to myself, we're going to be closing down wrap shops left and right. I don't care. I mean, I want vinyl to be there. It's a great product. It has its pros and cons, just like dip and peelable paints have their pros and cons. So I don't think that we're ever going to be closing down wrap shops left and right. I hope we don't. I don't want our product to be the reason why somebody else goes out of business. Justin, whatever happened to blueberry juice? Well, I know it was back ordered for a long time. I think we actually have it. Dan! Well, he's not over there. I think we had it. I don't know that for sure, but we may have it now. Durante, what company or person out there inspired you in your company? I get questions like this once in a while. I wish I had a better answer for you, but there wasn't really anybody or any company that inspired me or motivated me throughout the process of building DipYourCar. I know that's kind of a dud of an answer, but it's just the truth. There really wasn't anything. Jesse, where do you stand on True Gloss for DIY users? Something close to Autoflex. We went over that one. Hopefully the answer earlier, Jesse, satisfies that question. Brad, if you didn't come up with DipYourCar, what would you be doing? Well, I wouldn't be at that corporate insurance company anymore. I had my fill of that. I think there's a really good chance I'd be selling cars, maybe selling Audis. I know that is not an easy job, especially nowadays. I know that pay plans have shifted a lot. I know that they're pushing more for internet sales and younger people to get in there for a lot cheaper. But I have a big passion for cars. Most of the time when I buy a car, I've done enough research to know as much, if not more, than the salesperson. And that's just based on general interest. So I think I might be selling cars. I don't know. Good question. Art, how's everything going in life? Business aside, just everything in general. I would say pretty good. I think everybody has their share of challenges. I don't really think I have anything to complain about. I could find things to complain about, just like anybody. But what I tend to do is, if I feel stressed or upset or something, I think to myself, how hard would it be to find somebody who would swap places with me? Meaning there's people in hospitals, there's people whose children are sick, there's people with all these, real problems going on. And if I can't compare what I'm going through to somebody who has what I would consider real problems, I shut up pretty quick. Mike, why do you never dip the roof or mirror caps? Well, we do. To be fair, we do. We have multiple videos where we dip the roof, and we have a couple videos specifically about mirror caps. But the reason we don't do it on every car is just because we dip these cars so often. I mean, most cars are going to be dipped again in 2 or 3 weeks, and it just saves a lot of time and a lot of product. If we were dipping a customer car, or if we were doing our own car for a long period of time, I think a lot of times the roof ties everything together. But for us, having black cars, it's a lot easier to just churn and burn these cars for videos, leaving those components undipped. Carlos, what's the hardest challenge you faced with Dip Your Car, and how did you overcome it? What did you learn? That's kind of like a trick answer, or a complicated answer, because the biggest challenge we've ever had with Dip Your Car was, in my opinion, in 2013 or 14, when Armorall, I got to be careful with what I say here, when Armorall wanted to get into the business, and they came out of nowhere with their own peelable aerosol that was extremely similar to Plasti Dip. And I found out about that through somebody, directly involved in that situation, and it crushed me. It 100% crushed me. Because here we are, Dip Your Car, building from nothing, creating this entire market space, building all of this interest, educating people on these products, and Armorall comes around, this multi-billion-dollar company, at least with their parent company, and goes, yeah, let's get involved in that. Let's get a piece of that. And they come out with their own product. And obviously at that point I'm thinking, well, we're done. We did all this work to generate all this interest and build this market, and Armorall is going to come in and just sweep us. And that was an extremely difficult several months for me, because I knew it was going to be multiple months until the product launched. So I knew I had 2 or 3 months until my business just collapsed. And I was pretty down in the dumps. I didn't have a lot of confidence back then in our ability to market. I didn't understand our space in the industry and how amazing our core group of fans was, and how early we got in to build a foundation. So that was by far the lowest point for me, is when Armorall was coming out with their product. You know what? Watch. This. Armorall Custom Shield. I actually have one of these. This is the box that the can came in. I actually have one of these on my little, I don't want to say trophy case, but my little cabinet over there, to always remind me of this, actually. Because Armorall came out, and guess what happened? They failed. It was like 7 months and they pulled the product. And I learned a hell of a lot from that. I learned how strong we were as a brand. I learned how an organic group of a community can be stronger than a brand with a lot of marketing power. And I felt pretty darn good about ourselves after that. And there's been multiple other huge companies, Rust-Oleum, Duplicolor, and others, that have tried to get involved in this peelable paint business. And ever since this came and went, I haven't blinked an eye at any of them. Because not that we're indestructible, And not that other people can't get involved and get a piece of the pie. Sure they can. But they're not going to take what we've built. They're just not. Other competitors are welcome to come in, and we will do our job by treating our customers the best we can, coming out with the best products, creating the best community, and then they can do whatever they want. But moral of the story on that is, I was scared to death. I thought we were done, and I learned just how strong we were, which was awesome. So very glad I went through that. Jason, will there be another DipCon? Yeah, for sure. We didn't do them the past couple years for the pandemic. I mean, I don't know when that's going to clear up enough to when we can do another DipCon safely for everybody, but we will definitely do another DipCon. Rob says, do you dip your wife's car? We never see her here. The wife's car's been bugging for this color. I don't dip my wife's car anymore. So we dipped my wife's car a long time ago. And in the video, it said, I'm dipping my wife's car this color. And then she started getting stopped on the road, or people would honk, and she would get recognized on the road from that. And she didn't mind it too much. It bothered me a little bit. I'd rather not draw the attention to that. That's just my personal preference. So that video is actually not even public anymore. We just kind of scratched that one from the record, and she just drives her own car in stock form. Justin, where do you see your company DYC being 5 years from now? Major changes, goals. Again, I wish I had a better answer for this, but I'm not really the type of guy to say, I know exactly where we're going to be in 5 years, or here's what my aspirations are for the next 5 years, because you can plan all day, but you never really know what's going to happen. It's just not realistic. Things change so quickly that where I want to be in 5 years is I want to be in business, I want to be healthy, I want to have our employees feel rewarded and compensated and happy to be contributing. I just want to be a healthy, thriving business in 5 years. As far as anything else, again, I wish I had a better answer for you, but I just don't want to BS you. I genuinely don't know where we're going to be. Hopefully just continuing to push forward, and same as 5 years ago. I mean, we didn't do anything groundbreaking in the last 5 years. We've had some really awesome product releases and stuff, but still kind of moving in the same direction. Jeff, if you could have a 30-minute conversation with anyone living or dead, who would it be? Oh man, 30 minutes is a long time to talk too. I don't know. I might mark that one and come back to it. Sorry, Jeff. I really don't know the answer to that. Sergio, what size shoe do you wear? 11 or 11 and a half, depending on the brand. Greg, when are you trying to run trios with Gabriel and me? So Gabe's asking when I'm going to run Warzone with him, because I do play Call of Duty Warzone sometimes. I need to get my skills up a little bit, I think, before I play with you guys. I don't want to be left in the dust. Miranda, is there anything like Dip Armor or Autoflex available in Canada or California that require the low VOC? Not yet. 2K components like Dip Armor are really difficult to dial in for low VOC. We've got things in the works, but nothing where I would say, yeah, expect this coming soon. Kenny, if you could go back and tell Warren Prepare past you anything about what you've learned from getting your business to where it is, what would you be, or what would it be? And what is your biggest regret or hardest learning moment? So I already told you about the hardest learning moment. No regrets, thankfully. Everything is either a mistake that you learn from. The only time you regret something, in my opinion, is if you make a mistake and then you make it again and you didn't learn from that first one. And I'm usually pretty good at that. So no regrets. What I would go back and tell myself, I don't know, because I don't think I'd really change too much. I like everything that we did. I think it happened organically. I think it happened the right way. There's nothing on the timeline where I would point at that and say, man, if we just didn't do that, we'd be in so much better of a position. Thankfully, we don't have any of those. We didn't take any loans. We didn't take any credit from anybody, so we never owed anybody money, which I'm really glad that we didn't do. We came really close a couple times. We never sold any percentage of the business. I'm really glad we didn't do that. And I always knew from the very beginning that I had a lot to learn. I never felt like I had it all figured out. So I can't really go back and say that I would change too much. or warn myself, I think I would probably just go back and just tell myself to be as patient as I can, because, you know, you're always going to have challenges. And the only challenge, the only problem that you should ever get stressed about is one that you don't have a solution for. If you have a solution to the problem, even if you haven't solved it yet, even if you haven't executed the solution yet, if you know what the solution is, there's not really a lot of worry. There's not a reason to be stressed out. It's just a matter of getting it done. Sorry that wasn't the best answer to that. I just honestly don't really have something to cite there. Trevor, how do you maintain a healthy balance between running a worldwide business and your home life? Have there been any challenges to overcome? I can only speak, you know, about personal experience here, but without question, especially in the beginning, running a business like this takes up almost everything. I mean, from the time that you wake up to the time that you go to sleep, which is usually, you know, very late, especially in the beginning stages, your home and family life, it's a delicate balance. In the beginning, I was just dating here and there, and those dating relationships failed quickly, because they immediately found out that my priority was not going to be them, it was going to be the business. And then when I met my wife in 2012, I think the key to that working was just that she knew what she was getting into. I was 100% honest with her from the beginning. I told her I'm building a business and it should be my future and my family's future, and it's going to require an immense amount of time and energy and dedication, and that it's not a matter of me not caring. It's just I knew what I wanted to do, and thankfully I met somebody who understood that, and she went on that journey with me, and it's really thinned down a lot since then. I'm home earlier, I'm spending more time with the kids. Well, ever since the kids were born, I started changing my schedule right away, but we have a better balance now. So it's going to be hectic in the beginning. You have to be with somebody who understands exactly what that lifestyle is going to be like, somebody who's willing to go along for that ride and then see the light at the end of the tunnel. Carlos, when are you guys getting a convertible to spray like a Miata? I don't think we've ever had a convertible as a video car. We might. But to be honest, if we got a Miata, which is super possible, it probably wouldn't be well, does it have to be? I don't know. I don't know. Put a pin in that. It's definitely possible. Josh, who's your biggest role model, and what gave you aspirations to take the jump to open your own business? I don't think I really had or have a role model that I used for inspiration. When I started the business, I was just so tunnel visioned on it. I didn't really do anything else for a long period of time. Again, I wish I had a better answer for you, but outside of just making something up for the sake of the question, I didn't really have a role model that I can point to, which kind of sucked, actually, now that I think about it. Michael, do you ever plan to put together motorcycle kits? We had motorcycle kits for a while. I don't think a lot of people know that. There was a period of time in 2014 where we had motorcycle kits. And after reviewing it, they just didn't sell. And, you know, you can't have endless amount of SKUs, so eventually we took them down. We may look at it again in the beginning. I think one of the reasons why we don't have motorcycle kits is, even though it's entirely possible to dip a motorcycle, motorcycles go through a lot more wear and tear, a lot different type of wear and tear than cars do, with your legs rubbing up against the gas tank, potentially gas spilling on it and stuff like that. So I've never positioned dip to be perfect for motorcycles, because I think there are some challenges there. People use it all the time, but we did have motorcycle kits. They weren't big movers for us. Boss, how do you manage to push away all the negativity and focus on the positive side of life? I think that takes a lot of time. It really comes down to just who you are as a person. Is your personality the type of personality that can deflect negativity, refocus, and change perspective? Perspective is everything, in my opinion. There are times where I will be in a bad mood. I'll feel overwhelmed, or I'm upset about something that happened. I'll be driving in the car and I will feel how bad of a mood I'm in. And luckily, almost always, I have the ability to change my own perspective. Step back, Again, think about other people that may be going through problems that are way worse than mine. Look at my life from a third-party point of view and a little bit of distance and say, is it really as bad as I'm making it out to seem, or am I being a little bit dramatic here? And after just a couple moments of thinking through that, I allow that perception to shift, and I'm usually okay. Plus, most of the time, I'm able to remember, you never worry about things you can't change. Because what's the point? If somebody's upset at you, or somebody said something about you, or said something about the company, who cares? I mean, if you can't change it, it's okay to be a little bit bummed about it or a little affected by it for a moment, but you don't let that stuff linger. It's just not worth it. It's just an immense waste of energy. All right, Mia Lang, when you started this channel, did you realize how big it would get? What was your biggest obstacle in growing a channel of this magnitude? I really enjoy watching your videos beginning to end, but your bloopers brighten up my life. What is your enjoyable moment? Okay, so a couple of things here. No idea that the channel would get big. Just made the videos because I thought it would be helpful. The biggest obstacle of growing the channel, I went through a phase where I made videos because I thought that's what people wanted to see. And we actually started to lose traction. In the beginning, I made videos that I wanted to make. Then I started shifting into videos that I thought people wanted to see. We started dipping. And then I reshifted and went back to the videos that I wanted to make. Colors and components that I thought would be fun or I thought might be cool. Experiments that I was genuinely interested to see what the end result is. Because I think that comes through on the video. If you're not interested in the video, the people watching aren't going to be interested in the video. But if you're interested, they're going to feel that, and chances are they'll feel that same passion. I'm glad you enjoy the bloopers. We started putting those in about a year ago. And my most enjoyable segment of the videos, I think it's just the mixing and the spraying. Because when we do a mix like that, I'm not BSing you guys. I have no idea what it's going to turn out like. We don't test it ahead of time and then do the video. We genuinely just run with it, and whatever it comes out like, it comes out like. If it's great, that's awesome. If it looks like crap, it looks like crap. But I like seeing how things unfold just like you guys do. All right, moving our way through. Daniel, when are you going to rock some white wheels? I don't know, man. I don't rock white wheels often because I don't think the white product is that good. I think it takes a lot of coats to get full coverage. I think that it stains kind of easily, and I don't like promoting things that I wouldn't use on my own personal cars. The white aerosols are fine for what they are, but they inherently have challenges. So I just don't think you're going to see me showcasing our products that have some of those weaknesses as much as the other products. Straight giggles. LOL, I love your videos. The mixing to the peel. I was so excited the other day when you posted the short peel video. Can we get a longer one? And maybe do a anti-color or mirror. We will do more peel videos. I'm doing those shorts right now just to kind of test once in a while to see how interested people are. And the reason for that, we have full feature videos of peeling and removal. The ASMR one, the Porsche one, the RS7 one, full peel videos, and they don't get that many views. So from a systematic point of view, if you do a style video, and it doesn't get that many views, you're not really encouraged to do it again. But we'll keep doing some of those peel videos if you guys like them. Jimmy Jams. Back in the day, people used to request things in the notes section. Drawings, signed items, is that still a thing? And what's the funniest to date someone requested? So I know exactly what you're talking about. On our old website before Shopify, we had a notes section. And people would always put in requests for signed pictures and things like that. And we loved doing stuff like that. And our new website doesn't have that. We used to get requests for, like, draw me a picture of a dragon, draw me, Mr. T with Fonzie's face on it, things like that. And we always used to do it, which was awesome. And I think I'll probably call the developers today based on this question and see if we can get that put back in. Thank you for bringing that up. KK, have you ever applied Plasti Dip with a paintbrush? A roller. I've done it with a roller. And I've probably used a paintbrush on small things like emblems and stuff to kind of black out the emblems on an already dipped car, which works okay. If it worked great, we'd have a video on it. But yeah, I think we've done that. Patrick, what sparked your interest in dipping and painting cars? How old were you when you got the idea for DYC? I didn't really have an interest in dipping cars. When I found the product, I thought this is 2010, I thought it was just a regular spray paint. So I just started experimenting and playing with it. And I didn't really I didn't really understand what it was or what it was capable of until a couple experiments in. And I was like, is this really gonna peel clean off all of these surfaces? Like I could literally change the color of my wheels or emblems or bumper and it just peel it off. Like I was discovering this as I went, and I was, dude, how old was I? I think I was 28. 28. Jeff, what will be the next big innovation for dipping? And how will shipping problems and the price increase affect the business? So right off the bat, most, if not all, of the products that we sell are made in the US. So we don't have as big of a challenge with the shipping containers and the ports and everything that's going on right now. But we do have, of course, challenges with just industry-wide components and manufacturing. The price of resins and solvents and packaging and steel and everything has been skyrocketing. So we did just put a price increase a week or two ago, and hopefully we won't have another one for a long time. But it affects us just like any other business. And what was the beginning of the question? Next big innovation for dipping. I don't know. I have to kind of hold off on that because we have things in testing right now. And you guys know me. If I don't know it's coming, and for sure it's going to be, I don't want to tease it. So we have some cool things coming, but you might have to wait a little bit. Maddie, we know you're a car guy living in Florida. Will we ever see you go all out with air suspension and some crazy three-piece wheels? I'm more of a conservative wheel guy. I like Vossens is my brand of choice. We have a great partnership with them. I don't think I usually gravitate towards the three-piece wheels. And then a bunch of my cars are on air already, just factory air. The RS6 is on air, the Etron's on air, and I just use the lowering module to raise and lower it, and it can go all the way down. But as far as like putting AccuAir or anything on that, it's not really for me. WinRS, giveaways. Yeah, we do giveaways. When will Black Friday deals drop? On Black Friday. Any new products to be excited about for this holiday? I hope so, man. We have 3 new Hyperdip colors that are supposed to be here 30 years ago, and they're not. So hopefully they're here before Black Friday. If they're not, we riot. Purple or Perp Swirl. Will there be any more celebrity ideas like Riff Raff? Dude, I'm glad you brought this up. I was so excited about the Riff Raff video, and nobody watched it. I thought it was gonna be awesome. We had Riff Raff come on and pick a bunch of components to be used in a mixture, and I think it got like 40,000 views in a year, which is not a good trend. So if you guys want to see that again, you got to let me know, because to me, based on what I saw, nobody was super interested in it. Jacob, what's the newest, coolest advancement in the dip industry right now? Probably dip armor. R Windy Pops, what made you get into peelable paint? Was there a niche market for it? There wasn't any market for it. It just didn't exist. And I got into it just with experimentation and kind of everything unfolding on itself over a course of a couple months. It was an interesting little start. Trail Freak, any chance you guys will do custom graphics again like the barn find? Yeah, we just did it for the Halloween job, and we'll do it again in the future. And again, something like that, that barn find job was a ton of work. Jason really kicked ass on that. That video didn't perform all that well. And just as a content creator, you have to look at the themes of each video. And if people watch it, you know you want to do it again. And if they don't, you're not really encouraged to do that. So if you guys want to see that, let me know. Doyle, what's your favorite mixed combination so far? Oh, dude. I don't know. It might be cheesy. The one we just did this week is one of my favorite because it's one of the ones where I genuinely thought it was going to look terrible, and it worked like a charm. Dwayne, any chance of getting dip armor in an aerosol? That's extremely unlikely. Getting multi-component products in an aerosol is very, very tricky. Water break. Matthew, have you dipped a semi before, and how did it come out? Have not dipped a semi. Straight Leg J, hey Fonzie. Have you ever come north of the border and fished for salmon? I have not, but I might. Street Snail Speed Shop. Fonz, can we get a pro street paint job on the Mustang? I don't know what a pro street paint job is, my man. I will have to Google that. Bishop. Situation. The world is about to end. Planet-killing meteor or sun crab. You have time for one more workout. What do? Chest, arms, or something else? Oh, man. One more workout. Jesus. I'd probably just get a full body pump going, dude. Daniel, have you ever tried dipping a car using Lumalure? Not yet. Keep a pin in that. Taste or Tech-esque. How much do you bench and curl? The most I've ever benched with one rep, no one touching the bar, is 315. That was my goal for a long time. 3 plates on each side, no help at all. Got it. And then eased back a little bit. I'm 39, guys. Remember, I've gone through so many injuries at this point. How much do I curl? Not much. I don't go heavy on bicep. It's such a small muscle group. It can get stimulated from such a medium amount of weight. I'm more of a drop set guy for biceps, just high volume and get that, that pump going. You can really tear biceps apart without going heavy. And if you go too heavy, your tendons are going to be destroyed. How'd you get the nickname Fonzie? Comes from Eric. Actually got that name in high school. It stuck for a while. And then, or actually high school. It stuck for a while. And then I used the name Fonzie Audi on the AudiZine forums, which is where I first launched Dip Your Car, believe it or not. And then through that name, people were like, oh, you can get the stuff through that Fonzie guy, Fonzie. And then that stuck. And then I just kind of kept with it because it built momentum. And stuck ever since. Lloyd, you've not done much orange. Would it be possible to do a candy metal flake orange? Yeah, I think we could do that. Mad Scientist Nails, what advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs? For example, where do you start if you have no seed money? What steps could one take to acquiring backing? I don't have much for you on that because we didn't luckily get into any backing. We started with just a little bit of savings and then the sales fueled the growth. And I don't know enough about really safe, reputable places for you to get backing for your business, so I'm not the person to make an official recommendation for that. I would take it as far as you can before borrowing any money. And then if you need to for capital, there's verified options for that out there. Eatable, how are your children doing? What are your plans for the holidays? Wink, buying a new television. If you guys don't know, my children have smashed 2 TVs by accident, throwing toys and so forth. Kids are doing great, thank you. We're on our 3rd TV now, and we bought a much less expensive one this time because I don't expect it to last very long. Peach Drank. I want to ask this before anyone else does. What has been your favorite color that you sprayed on a car? Shit, man. I really like the Army Green that's on the RS6 right now. I think that is the best color car combo that we've done. Maybe a little biased, but I really like that a lot. Code MMA, Covington versus Usman, thoughts? Colby Covington is fighting Kamaru Usman this weekend for the 2nd time. Colby, for sure, for your MMA fans, if not MMA fan, tune out for about 10 seconds. I think Colby, for sure, is the guy that can give Usman the biggest challenge. He went 5 rounds with him, busted him up a little bit. I think Colby has a chance. But at this point, I would never put money against Usman. He is an animal. And I think he's probably going to win. Marks, just curious how many miles are on the Evo MR? I have no idea. But not that many, because a lot of the cars that you see are our video cars. They just live in the warehouse. Nobody ever drives them. That guy, Burn, have you had any Lucid Air owners contact you to dip their vehicles? No, but I've been keeping a very close eye on that company because they are, I think they got something special going, for sure. And that comes from somebody who's had multiple Teslas. I think Lucid is going to have a place for sure. Gordon W., will you spray a car in grandma's ashes? We've sprayed cars in some weird stuff, and it's going to even get weirder. We have a video coming in the next 2 weeks that is kind of weird and kind of gross. Grandma's ashes, I think, is one click past as far as I would take it. Imagine the overspray. Johnny Punani, have you invented any new colors, names, and why haven't you called anything Fonzie Fuchsia? I don't think I'll ever put my name in a color. It's not really my style. Kyle, how well does dip stand up to road, salt, and snow? Really freaking well. People dip their cars specifically for the winter time and then peel it off after just because they don't want to deal with any of that. Getting to the last 5 or 6 questions here. We've gone 45 minutes. Matt, my buddy Matt Bush, how do you like your e-tron compared to your other Audis? It's not really comparable. It's not fair. The R6 Avant is my favorite Audi or car I've ever had. I've wanted it forever. But when you get into the performance EVs, it's just like apples and oranges, man. It's different. The immediate power delivery is going to make any other car. So the RS6 Avant is tuned, 722 horsepower. It's got plenty of power. And then the RS e-tron is so much quicker just because 100% of the power is available at any time. So I really like the car, to answer your question, but comparing it to other, internal combustion engine Audis or cars, it's just not really fair. Christoph, how does a typical day at DYC look like? It could be different any day, dude. I mean, my day starts at 6. I jump on emails, I have the gym, and then I usually have conference calls and meetings in the morning. Then I get to the office anywhere between 9:30 and 11:30, and then my team and I just run through the day, and there could be 100 different things going on. Maybe I'll do another day in the life video that may help. Jonathan, when you first started, what was your driving force to keep you motivated? I was just obsessed. I don't know what drove that obsession or fueled it, but I just knew it could work, and it felt like such a right idea. I just became obsessed with it. And also from Jonathan, when your day is over, what would determine if it was a good day or a bad day for your company? That's a great question, because my wife asks me every day I come home, how was your day? And I always say something like, it was all right, it was all right. Because when you run a business, you're always going to have things that go wrong that day. You're always going to have challenges. You're always going to have things that worry you or bother you. So you'll never really be able to come home, if you're tuned into the business, you'll never really be able to come home and say, it was great, it was awesome, because there's always going to be things in the mix. But if you come home, obviously healthy and safe, if your employees feel like they're rewarded and they feel valuable, and you're on pace. If you had a day that was on pace, I think that's a good day, because there's a lot of companies out there that are having way worse days that won't survive to the end of the year. So if you're going to make it the next 6 months, if you feel like you're surviving, you got nothing to complain about. Last 2. Charlie, what were the biggest challenges you faced starting and growing your business? Went through that. And what are our biggest challenges today? Just getting product. The manufacturing delays and things are a massive pain in the butt. I mean, again, with the hyper dip and things like that, we should have a lot more product in the warehouse right now with a bunch of new colors, and we don't. And that for sure is very restrictive. And the last question, on a scale from 1 to nails on a chalkboard, how do you feel when someone says plastic dip? I would say 1. I could not possibly care less. It's just somebody, if they say plastic dip instead of Plasti Dip, they just don't know. And that means they're new, and there's nothing wrong with being a noob. Everybody's a noob at something at some point. So, that's all of our questions. I hope you guys, for those who stuck around this entire time, I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see more of these, because we don't do the Dipcast podcast anymore, I just realized this is definitely the closest thing to a replacement for that. If you want to see more Ask Me Anything videos, leave a comment below. It's the only way I'm going to be motivated to do it again. It's Fonzie. I think the feature video should be up Monday or Tuesday, depending on weather. Thank you guys for watching and subscribing and just being a supporter in general. Thanks to everyone who contributed a question. Love you guys so much. I'll see you guys on the next video.